It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo Parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science Potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you and welcome to this special edition of Science Bowl. This is the game that will decide the first of the final four in this elementary school science competition. Let's meet today's teams. First, hailing from Bond Mill Elementary, would you say hello to Kevin Sue, Trevor Bateman, and Carolyn Appleby. And from Glenarden Woods Elementary School, here they are, Hannah Abraham, Ashley Gonzalez Garcia, and Afra Siddiqui. And now here are the categories of questions we use on the Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo Parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body systems, we'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's Science Potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
Here on the Science Bowl, we arrange our game board according to question difficulty. The easier questions there on the left worth 5 and 10 points. The tougher ones worth 15, 20, and ultimately 25. Both of our teams start out at 50 points. No penalties ever for incorrect answers. Into the 2 rounds today, we will have one of our final 4. Will it be Glenarden Woods? Will it be Bond Mill? Both great teams. Let's make sure everything works properly. Trevor, let's try that buzzer. Looks and sounds A-OK. Good luck to you, Kevin, and to Carolyn. And Ashley, would you give that green team's buzzer a push? Nicely done. Good luck to you, to Afra, and to Hannah. And you guys are really just elite players. You are the best of the best. We have been through 40 schools, and you guys play the game so well. We're just proud of you. You're just good. You're just good. May the better team win. We go alphabetically on Science Bowl, B before G. So Bond Mill and Trevor, let's play this game.
Physical for 10, please.
Let's get physical for 10 points. Teams, this planet with the shortest day length is also our solar system's largest planet. Bond Mill.
Jupiter.
Jupiter it is. Nicely done. That's the way to start. Go red.
Let's get physical for 15.
Physical for 15 points. Teams, beyond Neptune is something called the Kuiper Belt, where there are icy, small planets, like Pluto now, that are described by this, Ashley?
Dwarf.
Dwarf planets. Yes, I was going to say what diminutive adjective, and you read my mind. Nicely done, Ashley.
Let's get body systems for 10 points. Body systems for 10 points.
Body systems for 10 points. Teams, in Shakespeare, the murderous Lady Macbeth famously tried to wash this from her hands.
Blood.
Yes, blood. And of course, it wasn't even there. She was just suffering from guilt. Go red.
Body systems for 15, please.
For 15 points in body systems, team, sickle cell anemia is very painful and it can be fatal. But if you have sickle cell trait, which is not as bad, and if you live in Africa, it provides protection against this mosquito-borne Glenarden Woods.
Malaria?
Malaria, absolutely right. It is an inborn deterrent to malaria. Nicely done. Go green.
Zoo Parade for 10.
Zoo Parade, 10 points. Teams, your question is as follows. An animal known as the pangolin looks like an artichoke. It is the only mammal covered in these that are normally associated with Glenarden Woods.
I'll pass to Afra.
Afra?
Scales.
Scales, absolutely. Normally associated with reptiles and fish. Well done. 90 to 70. Close game. Go, Ashley.
Green things for 10 points.
Green things, 10. Teams, this word that is another name for the stem of a plant also means when a predator tries to sneak up on its prey, Bond Mill.
Hunting?
Not hunting. This term, another name for the stem of a plant, also means a predator sneaking up on its prey. Stalk. Stalk, S-T-A-L-K. Try again, green.
Science potpourri for 10. Science potpourri for 10.
Potpourri for 10 points. Teams, the opposite of hypergenic is what? Ashley.
Hypo.
Hypogenic, absolutely right. Good, green.
Dateline for 10. Dateline science for 10 points.
Dateline science for 10 points. Teams, listen carefully. Watch me, listen to me. The weather system known as the Pineapple Express that brought a lot of rain to U.S.'s west coast is so named because it comes from what state? Bon Mill.
Hawaii.
That's it. Pineapple Express. You connected the dots. Good. Go. Red.
Dateline science for 15.
For 15 points. Teams, this scientist thought that coral reefs grew on top of sinking volcanoes, which makes sense because this scientist was sailing across the Pacific to the Galapagos Islands and saw a lot of coral atolls. Who was he? Bon Mill.
Charles Darwin.
You got that right. Thank you, Kevin. Nice assist. Charles Darwin it was. Our score, 100 to 95. Almost a tie score. Bon Mill, go.
Dateline for 20.
Dateline for 20 points, team. South Carolina will be in the path of totality this year during what event? Glenarden Woods.
Meteor showers.
Not a meteor shower, good try. South Carolina will be in the path of totality this year during what event, Bon Mill?
Hurricanes.
An eclipse, a total solar eclipse, the path of totality, where the moon will be completely blotting out the sun. Red, go.
Dateline science for 25.
25 in Dateline. Teams, there is an intellectual battle to determine which of these two electrical scientists, Tesla or this man, Bon Mill.
Pass to Kevin.
Kevin.
Edison.
Edison, Thomas Edison, yes. Which of the two was the more brilliant or the better inventor? The jury is out on that one. All right, 120 to 100. Trevor, go.
Green things for 15.
Green things for 15 points. Teams, you might have seen the commercial on television for Purdue chickens where they say they are adding not antibiotics to the water that they give to their chickens. Bon Mill.
Oregano.
Oregano, absolutely right, that we normally associate with pizzas. Pizza water, I like that. Go, Red.
Green things for 20.
Green things for 20 points. Teams, complicated question, simple answer. A scientist by the name of von Helmont set out with a 5-pound tree in a bucket filled with 200 pounds of dirt. 5 years later, the dirt still weighed 200 pounds, but the tree weighed 170, proving not that a tree gains weight from soil, but through this food making. Glenarden Woods.
Photosynthesis.
Yeah, photosynthesis. That did it. Okay. Buzzer says with that answer, we go to our first break. Look at this score. Bon Mill 135, Glenarden Woods 120. We got a nail biter, folks. Don't you go away. We'll be right back. And we welcome you back to Science Bowl. What a great game today. We anticipated this. These two schools have been here before. They've won their games. They're vying today for the chance to move on to the finale, where we have our 4 semifinalists that are reduced to 2 finalists, and then finally a county champion. Glenarden Woods has been county champion before. They're hoping to repeat. Bon Mill looking for their first championship. It could go either way today. Let's go over and make sure, we found out that everything worked. You guys are doing a splendid job. Let's find out about your schools. Bon Mill, up there in Laurel, Maryland. Trevor, tell us about the important people at Bon Mill, other than yourselves.
We have our principal, who is Mr. Fitzgerald, and
I was going to say, you wanted to do this before. I'm going to ask you who your sponsor is, and you can do it in the style that you wanted.
Miss Jacobs,
Who is?
our sponsor.
Who is Miss Jacobs? Yeah, I know you wanted to do a Jeopardy style thing there. Miss Jacobs is out there, and Mr. Fitzgerald, and they'll be out to join us in just a few moments. Huge sponsors of this team and of our game. Trevor, any alternates on your team? I know Kevin was the alternate. Who's your alternate now?
Tristan Merritt.
And Tristan, he's a fantastic guy. And Tristan, we're going to bring you out in a few moments too. You're a great asset to this team here. Trevor, someday you're going to?
Either be a paleontologist, a microbiologist that studies paleontology, or an engineer.
Wow, you have that down pat. You know exactly what you want to do with your life. And, things may change, but never lose your love for paleontology and for dinosaurs. It just kind of gets its hooks into you. All right. Carolyn, nice to have you here. You love animals, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. And how many animals you have?
I have 12 fish, 1 cat, and 2 hermit crabs.
Right, and you checked on the fish, you still have 12 fish, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the cat. And you feed that cat well, don't you?
Yes.
So the cat is not tempted to snack on. Good, that's good. Tell me what you want to be someday.
I want to be a veterinarian, but I also want to open a sanctuary for sloths because they're my favorite animal.
For sloths?
Yes.
Really? Aren't they neat?
Yes.
Huh? You know, they hang upside down, they move so slow, and algae grows on them, they move so slowly. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, really neat. Yeah, and they're being wiped out because of habitat destruction and hunters. Nice to have you back, Carolyn. Kevin, good to have you here. Tell us the Kevin story. What do you do in your spare time?
Well, in my spare time, I like reading books because at home we have a lot of books because my mom encourages literature. So I read a lot of sci-fi books, and I've been hooked on historical fictions lately. So.
Wow, you can't go wrong reading. You know, good books and literacy, you can do anything in life. Anything, which leads me to my next question. What do you want to do someday?
I want to be a physicist.
Yeah, why so?
Because I looked up to a lot of scientists that I read in books, like Mary Curie, as role models to look up to when I grow up.
Absolutely. Kind of like Stephen J. Hawking, too, a preeminent physicist out there. You're doing everything right, Kevin. Keep it up. Good to have you here today. Ashley, nice to have you guys back again from Glenarden Woods. And Glenarden Woods currently housed over there in Lanham in the old Robert Goddard School. And unfortunately, when they move back to their new school in August, some of you guys won't be there, right? But it's home now. What do you like about Glenarden Woods, Ashley?
Well, we do a lot of activities, and the teachers and staff really push the students to do their best.
Absolutely. And the same is true at Bond Mill, because I know you guys told me last time about how much fun you have at Bond Mill and how great the teachers are. Same at Glenarden Woods. Alternates on your team, Ashley?
Ruby and Justin.
Wonderful. And we have a trinity of sponsors at your school. 3 fine gentlemen. Who are they?
Mr. Del Serna, Mr. Richardson, and Mr. Hanowski.
Wow, the 3 Musketeers. Yeah, we're going to bring them out in just a few moments. They all do such a fantastic job. And this is your first year as sponsors, too. That makes it especially impressive. All right, Afra, tell us about yourself. You want to be a doctor, huh?
Yes.
How long have you thought about medicine?
Last 3 or 4 years.
3 or 4 years, yeah, and you're such a young lady here. Maybe that'll change, but you know, it's always good to have a kernel of something that you want to work on. What do you do in your spare time?
I swim, I play soccer, and I read books.
Wow, what kind of books do you like?
I like Greek mythology and sci-fi.
It's very impressive. Yeah, you and Kevin both know the value of a good book and staying with reading. Reading is, as they say, fundamental. Nice to have you here. Hannah, potential mechanical engineer, right? And astronaut.
Yes.
If you had your chance, would you go to the International Space Station?
Yes.
Oh boy, did you light up on that. How about Mars? Would you want to do that?
I'd like to sponsor a mission to go to Mars.
Yeah, but you know, it's not a one-way trip, but
Yeah.
it's going to be a big chunk of your life if you go. But in your lifetime, it's possible. It is possible that may happen. I think that's really exciting. When did you get interested in being an astronaut?
I really liked. I watched like television shows about like space and stuff, and I really like how you can actually go to another planet. That's how I got interested in being an astronaut.
Did you see that movie, The Martian?
Yes.
Isn't that great how he grew potatoes using his own waste products and how he kind of jerry-rigged things? It was a great recruitment for astronauts, and as you are as for students at Glenarden Woods. Let's get back to our game. 120 Glenarden Woods, 135 Bond Mill. Last correct answer came from the green team. Lots of points still available. Ashley, let's go.
Science potpourri for 15.
Science potpourri for 15 points. Teams, a recently discovered gibbon. A gibbon is a kind of monkey in Southeast Asia. Because it swings through the tops of the trees, it has been given the name of the Star Wars Jedi Luke
Skywalker?
Luke Skywalker, absolutely right, Bond Mill, yeah. Because he kind of walks through the sky up there in the top of the trees. Go red.
Zoo parade for 15.
Zoo parade, 15 points. Teams, The television naturalist David Attenborough described this animal as having a heart as big as a car. Bon Mill.
Elephant?
No, Glenarden Woods. This animal, so says David Attenborough, has a heart as big as a car and blood vessels so wide that you could swim through in the blood.
Whale?
More specifically.
Blue whale?
Blue whale. That's what I want to hear. Yep, good. Green. Good comeback.
Zoo parade for 20 points.
Zoo parade for 20. Teams, some birds, like practically all reptiles, will bury their eggs in rotting vegetation or in the ground to do this to them. Bon Mill?
To mask their scent from predators?
No. Glenarden Woods.
Incubate?
Incubate them, yes, so that the rotting vegetation in the warm earth will provide that warmth rather than sitting on them. And I'm sure they are protected from predators as a sideline. Go Green.
Body systems for 20.
Body systems, 20 points. Teams, because we are bipedal creatures, we can do this. Glenarden Woods.
Walk on 2 legs.
You got that right. You'll walk on 2 legs, bipedal, 2 feet. Good. Green.
Science potpourri for 20.
Potpourri for 20 points. Teams, if your dentist believes in sedation dentistry, what will he or she do? Bon Mill.
Can I pass to Carolyn?
Carolyn.
Put you under anesthesia?
Absolutely right. They put you to sleep. Nicely done, Carolyn. Go Red.
Let's get physical for 20.
Physical for 20 points. All right, teams, be very careful here. I'm going to ask you to spell something, being careful with lower and uppercase letters. And I want you to define something for me. I want you to spell PH and tell me. Glenarden Woods.
Lowercase p, capital H, and it means probability of helium, hydrogen.
Say it again for me.
Lowercase p, capital H, and it means probability of hydrogen.
Yes, ma'am. That's what I want to hear. The H is for hydrogen. Good answer. Go. Green.
Green things for 25.
Green things for 25 points. All right, teams. This process only happens in plants if the pollen grains touch the stigma. What process happens when those two things occur?
Germination?
Not germination, good try. When pollen grains touch the stigma, what happens? What's that process called?
Reproduction?
Fertilization. Fertilization is what I want to hear. Try again, please. Green. 25-point advantage.
Science potpourri for 25.
Potpourri for 25 points. Get this right, Bon Mill. We have a tie score. This is a visual question. Everybody look at the monitor, please, in the studio. This is a tsetse fly that carries the disease sleeping sickness. Just like mosquitoes that carry malaria and pass along Zika, they could be called transmission agents, but their other name is this.
Parasite?
Not parasite. No, Glenarden Woods.
Vector?
Vector is what I want to hear. Absolutely. That is the one who is carrying it along. Well done. Good, Ashley. Go.
Let's get physical for 25. Let's get physical for 25.
Get physical for 25 points. Put on your thinking caps. You have to do some math. There's a book out called What If? It's full of absurd hypothetical questions. One of them says, what would happen if you tried to hit a baseball that was coming at you half the speed of light? What is half the speed of light? Bon Mill.
1,500 miles per hour?
Not quite, no. Half the speed of light, Glenarden Woods, for 25 points. What you got?
1,250?
No. Speed of light is 186,000 miles per second. Half of that is 93,000. You're not going to hit that baseball. Go Green.
Body systems for 25. Body systems for 25 points.
Body systems for 25 points. Teams, vitamin C is important, as British sailors learned before they start taking limes with them on their voyages, because it prevents the development of this S initial disease. Glenarden Woods.
Scurvy.
Scurvy. That's what I want to hear. Good. Go.
Zoo Parade for 25 points.
Zoo Parade for 25 points is a visual question. Look at the monitor, please, in the studio. Wow, this looks like a monster. It is actually quite harmless. This is a hellbender. You can find them in streams in western Maryland. And these are the largest of these kinds of amphibians in the United States.
Salamander?
It is the largest what, Trevor?
Salamander?
Salamander, that's it. Thanks, Carolyn. Good. Trevor?
Green things for 5.
Green things for 5 points. Teams, it makes sense that these coniferous leaves are called these because they have such sharp tips.
Needles?
Needles, that's it. Go red.
Zoo Parade for 5.
Zoo Parade for 5 points. Teams, just as panda bears are not real bears, these so-called bears are not bears. They are...
Koala? Marsupials?
Koalas is absolutely right. Yeah, they're marsupials. Go, red.
Body systems for 5.
For 5 points. Teams, if you wear a Dallas Cowboy sweatshirt at a Washington Redskins rally, you're going to stick out like a sore what?
Thumb.
Thumb, that's it, Bond Mill. Where next?
Let's get physical for 5.
Get physical for 5 points. Teams, I want you to go back to when you were really young, in kindergarten. That's where you learned that if you took a yellow crayon and a blue crayon, you can make this color. Ashley?
Green.
Green it is, yeah. Green, go.
Science potpourri for 5.
Potpourri for 5 points, teams. We know that there is leavened bread and unleavened bread. We know that unleavened bread doesn't rise. Ashley?
Yeast?
It doesn't have any yeast. Absolutely right. Last question of the game, Dateline Science for 5 points. Teams, this chemical element in the water in Flint, Michigan caused, Trevor?
Lead.
Lead it was. And with that, we come to the end of the game, and it looks like Glenarden Woods is headed to the Final Four. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. There's some tears over there and some long faces, but there shouldn't be because this was a spectacular game. That lead went back and forth, and all of these 6 young people played their hearts out. They're all winners. Let's give them a hand. Everybody, everybody. Our final tally is Bond Mill 215, Glenarden Woods 255. What a game you played. Afra and Ashley and Hannah, the girls in white over there. You're headed to the Final Four. And back there supporting them, we've got Ruby and Justin and our 3 sponsors here, Mr. De La Serna, Mr. Hanowski, and Mr. Richardson. We will see you in March. And Bond Mill, let's give us some big smiles here. I know it's hard. Kevin and Trevor and Carolyn, you couldn't have done any better here. You guys are fantastic. And when you get to middle school, and even next year, come back and play again. Tristan, you're the man. You set this up in that last game. You did a fantastic job. And Kathy, you cannot retire yet. You cannot retire yet. And Justin, hold her to that. Our principal, Mr. Fitzgerald, and Miss Jacobs, the wonderful sponsor of Bond Mill. We thank you for being here. We'll see you next time on the Science Bowl. I'm Dave Zare. Bye-bye now.